Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We are going to the second session today. Unfortunately, the chair has not been able to attend, so I have taken over. I've been elected democratically to chair this session. Can we just concentrate on the issues under discussion? And I just wanted, with a smaller group, we need more discussion so that we can have something concrete coming out from today's session. So, Bismillah, without further ado, I request the speaker, Bishop George Saliba for Lebanon.
Thank you very much. On spite of the absence of our chairperson, we could not guess until now if the person is man or woman. We say hello to her, to him, and we are happy to replace by Dr.
Saif Ahmed.
Saif Ahmed. Where are you from? London? Saif Ahmed. Saif is Sawar to Ahmed is very blessed name in Arabic. My speech, I will say it in Arabic. It's written. There are copies out. I don't know who is in charge to collect and give to the listeners or partners to share with. عنوان المحاضرة التضامن والتكافل الإنساني ومواجهة الكوارث الطبيعية والمجاعات في العالم من منظور ديني. لما خلق الله الإنسان الأول أبانا آدم تأمله الخالق ونظر إلى عقله وقلبه وعواطفه وأحاسيسه وسر بخليقته هذه ثم رأى حاجته إلى شريك فأطلق تعالى العبارة الباقية على الأجيال ليس جيدا أن يكون آدم وحده فأصنع له معينا نظيره فخلق له حواء لتكون المعين والشريك بل رفيق الحياة لآدم. وهكذا بدأ التضامن والتكامل في الطبيعة البشرية وسارت الإنسانية مسيرتها عبر الأجيال والإنسان يوما بعد آخر يشعر بحاجته الماسة للآخرين فعلى الرغم من المواهب والعطايا والخيرات التي خص بها هذا المخلوق العجيب المخلوق على صورة الله ومثاله ظل النقصان ملازما لمسيرته وسلوكه طالما تملكته الحاجة ورافقت هذه المسيرة بل جعلته ينظر من قريب ومن بعيد من هو الذي سيعينه ويهديه ويرشده إلى ما يتمنى وما يحتاج إليه. وعلى هذا الأساس قامت العائلة الوالدان والأولاد لتكون العائلة النواة الأساسية في بناء المجتمع ويتفاعل الإنسان مع عائلته ومجتمعه والمتعاملين معه إن كانوا من العائلة نفسها أو الأقارب أو الجيران أو الأصحاب لأن نقصان الإنسان لا يكمله إلا التفاعل مع الآخرين والتعاون معهم تحقيقا لما يرجو ويطلب بل لما يسعى إليه ويبغي. فالإنسان هو الأنس والأنس لا ينبع من الذات من التعامل مع الآخر الذي هو الشريك والصديق والمعين والعامل وهذا يبدأ بابن الجنس والنوع وصولا إلى اكتشاف الذات بالآخر فالآخر هو الذي يسبب الثقة والاعتداد بالذات أو التضحية أو التجرد بل الإقدام والإحجام وفي كل الحالات إن ردات الفعل إيجابية كانت أو سلبية تمنح الإنسان الشعور بما يجب أن يفكر أو يعمل ليكون مقبولا في بيئته أو مرفوضا في مجتمعه. ولا بد من التضامن البشري لتكتمل الصورة ويظهر المشهد نتيجة القرار النابع من العقل أو القلب، مما يقود هذا المخلوق إلى القناعة التي تحركه للوصول إلى مبتغاه وبلوغ مشتهاه. هذا في حالة النجاح. أما في حالة الفشل في مخططه فيكون الإخفاء ثمرة قلة الحكمة والفهم والخطأ في تقدير الأمور. الاتكال على الله لدى المؤمن هو موضوع ثقة بالخالق الذي يحب الإنسان، كل إنسان، لكن لا يكفي أن يكون الإنسان متكلا في كل أموره على الله بدون السعي إلى العمل لتحقيق الأماني، مع الضرورة القصوى لهذا الاتكال، لأن الله أعطى الإنسان عقلا وحكمة وفهما ليتدبر أموره في حياة العالم في مسيرة الحياة، وزينه بنعمة الإدراك والتمييز والحرية. فإن أحسن الاختيار واتكل على الله ينجح، ونجاحه يكون عظيما. وإن لم يحسن الاختيار ولم يدرك ويميز سقط، ويكون سقوطه أيضا عظيما. لماذا هذه الملاحظات؟ نجيب إن الإنسان هو ابن المجتمع، بل ابن الحياة. هناك صفات تخلق معه، وهناك صفات ومواهب يكتسبها في الحياة من عائلته ومجتمعه وبيئته، بل من خبرته وخبرات الآخرين، ومن جده واجتهاده، الأمور التي تسهل الدروب أمامه وتجعلها في متناول عقله وقلبه وقدرته. وقد قال الأولون: الناس بالناس والكل بالله. فلا غنى لأحد عن الآخرين، ولا ثراء وتقدم وفلاح إلا مع الآخرين، تأكيدا لبركة الله بالاتكال على قدرته ومحبته وعطفه على البشر. من هنا جاء علماء الاجتماع والباحثون والمختصون ليقولوا إن التضامن البشري والخبرة في الحياة هما الوسيلة الجادة والجدية ليكون الإنسان سويا في حياته، مرتاحا في مجتمعه، مطمئنا لمستقبله، إذ لا يمكن أن يعيش الإنسان بدون الآخر، حيث يضمن معه التضامن والتكامل والتكافل، وتأتي مسيرة الحياة طبيعية للأفراد والجماعات على حد سواء. ما أسعد الإنسان إذا كان مباليا مهتما ملتزما بما هو لله ولضميره ولمجتمعه ولوطنه، بل للإنسانية عامة. هذه المسيرة التي نتحدث عنها لا يمارسها الإنسان على وتيرة واحدة من الاضطراب والاستقرار، إذ أن المتغيرات في مسيرة الحياة، حياة الإنسان، هي شأن طبيعي ومعمول بها أو به وممارس. وقد قال الشاعر يوما: لكل شيء إذا ما تم نقصان فلا يغرى بطيب العيش إنسان، هي الأيام كما شاهدتها دول، من سره زمن ساءته أزمان. فالإنسان منذ ولادته وحتى بلوغه لحده في غيابه عن هذا العالم التجارب محيطة به، المآسي تعترض مسيرته، المرائر تعكر مزاجه، وعاديات الزمان تتعبه. وليس من يعيش هذه الحياة على وتيرة واحدة، فبقدر ما يواجه من سأم من تكاليف الحياة يعيش أيضا في بحابح الحياة، والحالتان نسبيتان عند الإنسان. وغالبا ما نقول المتاعب أزمان والراحة عند الإنسان زمن واحد، وفي هذه وتلك يتعامل الإنسان بما يراه مناسبا ويسعى إليه. الكوارث الطبيعية والمجاعات في العالم هي جزء مما يواجهه أو يمسه أو يعاينه في الآخرين، فيفرح للإيجابيات ويحزن للسلبيات وكأنها تصيبه وحده. وقد شخص علماء النفس شخصية الإنسان أن له شخصية متميزة اصطلحوا عليها بعبارة التليباثية، أي أن الإنسان يفرح مع الفرحين ويحزن مع الحزانة. وظروف الحياة تعمل في حياته عملا بارزا، ولا سيما الأعمال المأساوية والنتائج السلبية لجنون الطبيعة مثلا. وهذه عاطفة تتفاوت لدى المخلوقات ولا سيما الإنسان، إذ لسنا ناسين الفيضانات التي ضربت الشرق الأقصى بكوارث طبيعية مميتة ومدمرة أطلق عليها لقب أو اصطلاح تسونامي. فضحايا هذه الإعصارات وسواها لامست وضربت الأبرياء الذين لم يسيئوا إلى الطبيعة ولم يكونوا في أي شكل من الأشكال فاعليها ومسببيها. أو عندما نعاين ونقرأ ونسمع أخبار المجاعات في العالم، ولا سيما ما يعترض أجزاء كثيرة من العالم كأفريقيا والهند وسواهما من المناطق في العالم من قحط وشح وانسداد ميازيب السماء، والتي تبخل على سكان تلك المناطق بالحياة، حيث تجف العيون وتيبس الأرض وتنعدم الزروع. وتكون ضحية هذه الكوارث مجموعات بشرية ومخلوقات عجماء ونباتات وسواها من المخلوقات التي هي بحاجة إلى المياه، أو حرائق تطال الإنسان بحياته ومسكنه وطبابته وكل ما له. هذه كوارث طبيعية سمح الله بحلولها، فلا يشمت أحد بأمة تصاب بهذه الكوارث، ولا بوطن أو أرض أو مستقر. فهذه المصائب هي أمام كل إنسان وعلى أبواب كل البشر، وفي كل لحظة البشرية معرضة لمثل هذه الكوارث في كل زمان ومكان. من هنا نتيجة خبرات الإنسان وشعورا بالحاجة، والأولون قالوا الحاجة أم الاختراع. اخترع الإنسان الوسائل والقدرات لمقاومة كوارث الطبيعة وسواها من كل الجوانب، وفي نفس الوقت أوجد الوسيلة للتعبير عن رفضه لما يحدث، متكلا على الله وعقله وضرورة التعامل والتفاعل والتضامن مع الآخرين، تأكيدا للمثل الشائع يد الله مع الجماعة. والعمل مع الجماعة عامل نجاح غالبا. فالجماعة المتضامنة والمشتركة في تحدي المصائب والصعوبات والأخطار بإمكانها التخفيف من ويلات وأهوال الكوارث مهما كان حجمها وقوتها وتأثيرها. فهذا وازع إنساني يولد مع الإنسان ويكتسب بالفطرة والتجربة والخبرة، وليس الإنسان وحده الذي يشعر بحجم الكوارث ويقاومها. فالعجماوات أيضا لها من فطرتها وسليقتها وحبها للحياة ما يجعلها أن تبذل ما بإمكانها للنجاة والهرب من تأثير هذه الكوارث. فالحياة طيبة، ولا مخلوق يطلب الشرور والخراب الذي تقود إليه هذه المصائب والويلات. يشترك البشر في كل القارات على هذه البسيطة في العواطف والمشاعر المطلوبة لمواجهة الكوارث الطبيعية والمجاعات، ويتميز الشعور الديني أمام هول هذه الكوارث والمجاعات، ذلك لأن الإنسان تلتقي وتجتمع في شخصه مواهب العقل والفهم والإدراك والإرادة، ويعتبر نفسه سيدا للعالم على غرار خالقه، فهو من هذا القبيل مسؤول عن مسيرة الكون. ولهذا أوجد لنفسه كل الآلات والوسائل التقليدية الموروثة والاختراعات التي زينه الله بالعقل ليستنبطها ويجدها وتكون وسيلة ناجحة وناجعة للإفلات من تأثير هذه الكوارث. هذا في مطلق الأحوال. أما الدين فلا دعوة له ولا رسالة إلا الخير والسعي إلى تجسيده وتطبيقه في العالم. فالعامل الديني هو ضميره، والضمير هو صوت الله في الإنسان كما يعلم علماء اللاهوت. والله لا يرضى إلا بالخير من فعل وتطبيق ونشر وإعلام. فالمبادرة الدينية حاضرة دائما، والمنظور الديني يرفض أي تباطؤ في فعل الخير. وقد علمنا سليمان الحكيم بأمثاله قائلا: لا تمنع الخير عن أهله حين يكون في طاقة يدك أن تفعله. راح أختصر أنا لأختم الكلام. فالكوارث الطبيعية من منظور ديني هي سماح الله أو من سماح الله لتكون وسيلة لعودة الناس إلى التمسك والتعلق بالقيم والتماس بركات السماء، وفي نفس الوقت ليكون البشر في حالة مستمرة ودائمة من الاستعداد لاستقبال ذلك اليوم الذي لا يدري به الملائكة وأصفياء الله. نجانا الله وحمانا من المصائب والويلات التي تمارسها الطبيعة أو المتصارعون والمتسابقون في اختراع أسلحة الدمار الشامل لتعيش الإنسانية بطمأنينة ورجاء ابتغاء للحياة الأبدية، حياة أمنية للعقلاء والحكماء والصالحين في العالم. شكرا جزيلا.
Thank you very much, Bishop George Saliba of Lebanon. I think it's befitting that we began this session with a comment from the spiritual leader, and I am very impressed, very touched. His message was universal. I think it does not restrict himself or the audience to the Christian text. It is a universal message that continue to provide good deeds and the steadfastness of humanity. I just want to, for the next two speakers, I would like to suggest that we would limit within 10 minutes. And because we have got the theological underpinning from the first speaker, if we were to concentrate a bit more on the practical steps, I mean, a couple of ingredients I would like my colleagues to share. One is the World Food Program, who has got a $6.7 billion budget, has cut it by $4.2 billion. So several million people from sub-Saharan Africa and Southeast Asia, particularly Bangladesh and various poor countries, are dependent on these food allowances, food grants from World Food Program that has been cut well in excess of 1/3 to half of their deliveries that is likely to come through. And secondly, there are water shortages across the world. We know at least 1/5 of the humanity do not have access to clean water. So when a natural calamity hit, the first thing is people require water to survive, because water becomes contaminated or polluted. And the third is that when natural calamity hits, we need mobile medical unit, doctors, nurses, volunteers to be there. I would suggest the next speakers, if we are able to bring our deliberation in practical steps, that faith groups together, the religious response to natural disaster famine can concentrate, so that we can have a full half an hour discussions on that. So I would like, without further ado, Dr. Ali Abu Layla from Egypt.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. عنوان الدراسة التي سوف أتقدم بها حول المقاصد الشرعية كإطار إسلامي للتضامن الاجتماعي في مواجهة الكوارث والمجاعات. وأنا أدرك طبعا من الإطار الإسلامي يؤكد على قضيتين أساسيتين. القضية الأولى أن كل الأحداث التي تقع في العالم هي أحداث خاضعة للسببية، بدايتها سببية ما وراء الطبيعة، ثم سببية الطبيعة، ثم السببية التي قد يتسبب أو يسببها أو تبدأ من الإنسان بالأساس، بيد أن هذه السلسلة من السببية تبدأ دائما من الله وتنتهي إلى الإنسان المستخلف لإعمار الأرض بصورة أساسية. القضية الثانية أن الله استخلف الإنسان لإعمار الكون وتطوير وأمده بثلاثة آليات أساسية. الآلية الأولى هي الفطرة، والآلية الثانية هي الاستخلاف، عملية الاستخلاف نفسها، والآلية الثالثة هي المقاصد الشرعية التي تشكل البوصلة التي تحكم العمل الإنساني بصورة أساسية في إطار المجتمع. فيما يتعلق بالمكون الأول وهو الفطرة، الفطرة في طبيعة في تحديدها الأساسية الهيئة الخلقية الأولى التي فطر الله الإنسان عليها، وهي قابلة لسلوك الخير وقابلة لسلوك الشر، ولكن الخير هو القاعدة بالأساس والاستثناء هو الشر. وعلينا أن ننظر إلى رمزيات الدين فيما يتعلق بذلك، حينما عصى آدم ربه في الجنة، وحينما وواقعة عصيان إبليس، وواقعة قابيل وهابيل، كلها وقائع طارئة على قاعدة أساسية هي الخير بالأساس. والإنسان بعبادته لله واستيعابه لقيم الدين ومبادئه والسعي إلى طاعة الله تكون فطرته إيجابية وإيثارية وخيرية، وتكميل الارتقاء بأوضاع العمران وإصلاح هذه الأوضاع إن ألم بها شيء. الفطرة هنا هي القدرات والإمكانيات والطاقات التي يقتدر بها المكلف على أداء التكليف الذي أنيط به، والمقصد العام للتشريع هو الارتقاء بالفطرة وتزكيتها. من هنا فإننا إذا تفعيل الفطرة في خيريتها وإيثاريتها يفرض عليها الحفاظ على الدين ومقاصده الشرعية والتأكيد على العبودية لله، العمل على بناء العمران والاجتماع البشري والارتقاء بأحواله، فالارتقاء بأحواله يعني العمل للغير والإيثارية نحو الآخرين بصورة أساسية. إذا أصاب العمران عطب سواء كان ابتلاء أو عقابا من الله، فإن الفطرة بخيريتها تعود دائما إلى طبيعتها وإصلاح حالة العمران، ولكي تحقق ذلك فإنها تصلح حالة التدين كمدخل لإصلاح استقامة العمران، والعمل أيضا على إصلاح مضامين المقاصد والحفاظ عليها، إضافة إلى تنقية العمران من كل مظاهر الفساد والبعد عن الدين. المكون الثاني الاستخلاف كآلية لعمران المجتمع. من مظاهر تكريم الإنسان الله للإنسان استخلافه دون كل المخلوقات لبناء العمران وتسخير الكون له لكي يعمل فيه قدراته وملكاته. والاستخلاف يتطلب الإرادة وهي مركبة على الفطرة، وإذا كان الله صاحب إرادة كاملة فالإنسان صاحب إرادة خاضعة محكومة بإرادة الله وإذنه. مع التأكيد على إرادة الإنسان تتأسس المسؤولية التي تعني التحرر من الخوف وإعمال العقل والإحساس بالأمن والطمأنينة. حسب الاستخلاف والإرادة الإنسانية المرتبطة به، فإن الإنسان مطالب بحكم استخلافه أن يعمل على الارتقاء على بناء العمران والارتقاء بالعمران المحيط به، والوقوف منه موقفا إيجابيا وإصلاحه إن أصابه عطب، حتى يستطيع أن يقوم الإنسان بمهمة الاستخلاف التي تفضل بها الله عليه، أن يعمل الفطرة التي هي أساس الخيرية والإثرية والتحرك الإيجابي نحو الآخر، أن يؤكد على التدين وتأكيد العبودية والوحدانية لله وحده، أن يعمل المقاصد وأن يحافظ على المقاصد الشرعية باعتبارها موجهات للفعل الإنساني، أن يعمل العقل لأنه بالإبداع والمعرفة نساعد على تفعيل العقل بصورة أساسية. المكون الثالث هو مقاصد الشرعية، ما الشريعة بشكل عام كموجهات لبناء العمران والحفاظ عليه، ونحن إذا تأملنا هذه المقاصد الكلية فسنجدها في أساسها 5 مقاصد: حفظ الدين بتفعيل العقائد وتجديدها، حفظ النفس بالحفاظ عليها وإبعادها عن الفحشاء والعمل على تزكيتها، حفظ العقل بتزويده بالمعارف والتعليم وتوليد القدرة على البحث والتأمل والبعد عن كل ما يذهب العقل، حفظ النسل بالحفاظ على سلامته وابتعاده عن المناطق الحرام في حياة الإنسان كالزنا والتبني، والعمل على إشباع أو على تدريب هذا النسل على قيم الدين ودفعه إلى استيعابها بداخله بصورة أساسية. المقصد الأخير هو حفظ المال، والمال أنواع: رأس المال الاقتصادي، ورأس المال الاجتماعي، ورأس المال المعرفي، ومن الممكن أن يصيب الفساد أي من هذه الأشكال لرؤوس المال بصورة ما. لا بد أو من الضروري أن نعمل على تفعيل رؤوس الأموال هذه باعتبارها مقصدا أساسيا إما لعمران المجتمع أو لمواجهة الكوارث التي قد تنتابه بصورة أساسية. في هذا الإطار فإننا إذا تأملنا المقاصد الشرعية في أساسها فسوف ندرك فكرتين أساسيتين. الأولى هي أن الدين، أو أن إذا تأملنا هذه المقاصد 5 هنجد واحدة تتعلق بالله وهي الدين، 3 تتعلق بالإنسان وهي حفظ النفس وحفظ العقل وحفظ النسل، وواحدة تتعلق بالإنسان. ومن هنا نجد أن الله حينما استخلف الإنسان زوده بقدرات متعددة إلى حد كبير. القاعدة الثانية أننا إذا تأملنا ترتيب هذه المقاصد 5 وهي الدين، الحفاظ على الدين، الحفاظ على النفس، الحفاظ على العقل، الحفاظ على النسل، الحفاظ على المال، فسوف نجد أن كل مقصد سابق من الممكن أن يصلح حال المقصد التالي عليه. لكن إذا خرب المقصد السابق كالدين مثلا لا يمكن أن يصلح بواسطة المال أو بواسطة النفس. ولذلك فإننا نجد أن دائما الحفاظ على العمران البشري يبدأ بالدين ثم يتتابع عبر المقاصد 5 متتالية بشكل عام. بهذه المكونات 3 الذي أشرنا إليها نصل إلى النقطة الأخيرة، وهي كيف نتعامل مع الكوارث مقاصديا. الكوارث ذات طبيعة مادية أو معنوية، والكارثة الأعمق والحقيقية أن تأتي على معاني الأمم وقيمها ودينها، فإصلاحها صعب، ولكن والكارثة قد تنتاب الجوانب المادية وإمكانية إصلاحها سهل بصورة أساسية. أما الكارثة إذا أصابت أي من المقاصد يمكن أن ينتقل تأثيرها إلى المقاصد التي تليها بشكل عام. أن تفعيل الدين وتعميقه في نفوس البشر يستنفر فيهم فطرتهم الخيرة والإيجابية بصورة أساسية حتى يتجهوا إلى العمران ويذكرهم باستخلافهم من قبل الله. إذا تم استنفار مساحات الخيرية والإثارية والإيجابية في فطرة البشر فإن ذلك على ما أعتقد قادر على مواجهة الكوارث وإصلاح حالة العمران بصورة أساسية. وشكرا.
Thank you, Dr. Ali Abu Laila, and you have limited yourself in 12 minutes, so therefore I have to be equally offer 12 minutes to Mr. Jacob Bender of USA.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here again in Doha. Both Jews and non-Jews often make the mistake of assuming that there is a unanimous Jewish position on both religious and political issues. The long history of Jewish pluralism and indeed of divisiveness within the Jewish community is proof of just how misguided is the viewpoint that proposes that Jews speak or should speak with one voice. The attempt to force this unity is often accompanied by the curtailment of intellectual freedom. The late Israeli philosopher, Professor Yeshayahu Leibovich, called the drive for Israeli and Jewish unity to support the policies of the Israeli government the golden calf of modern Judaism, the political and intellectual equivalent of worshiping a pagan idol. We can no better see the diversity of Jewish opinion than in examining the question of human suffering, especially the suffering of innocents caused by so-called natural disasters. In the face of these disasters, we can identify four general responses proposed by both classical and modern Jewish thinkers. The first response is that, as mere humans, we are unable to comprehend the mysteries of the universe. This is the position found in the biblical book of Job, which has God interrogating his long-suffering servant, demanding to know whether Job ever commanded the day to break and assigned the dawn its place. At the end of the book, Job, finally understanding that the universe is beyond his comprehension and referring to his earlier complaints, answers God with these words, "Indeed, I spoke without understanding of things beyond me which I did not know." The second Jewish response to natural disasters proposes that human suffering is God's punishment for the failure of the Jews to follow the divine commandments. In other words, natural disasters are punishment for our sins, as is found in the words of the biblical book of Deuteronomy. "If you do not obey the Lord your God to observe faithfully all his commandments and laws, cursed you shall be in your comings, and cursed you shall be in your goings." This view was clearly problematic in the eyes of many Jewish commentators, as it failed to account for the suffering of the obviously innocent, like children from natural disasters. Consequently, a third response arose, an interpretation that saw God's pedagogy in the suffering of the righteous. When the innocent suffer, the commentators said, God is attempting to teach us something important. Finally, a more modern reading of human suffering resulting from natural disasters emerged, based upon both traditional Jewish texts as well as influenced by the worldwide ecological movement of the past 4 decades. This ecological interpretation is less pedagogic than consequential in that it sees certain natural disasters as being a direct result of human activity, namely activity that selfishly despoils and exploits the planet in violation of the natural order. This fourth interpretation is based upon the biblical verse from the book of Psalms, "The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof." It starts with the assumption that humans are only temporary custodians of the earth, and the violation of this stewardship resulting from human greed and arrogance is a sin. The book of Deuteronomy reminds us that if we serve other masters rather than God, then will the Lord's anger flare up against you, and he will shut up the skies so that there will be no rain, and the ground will yield no produce. The Holy Quran also manifests what we may call this sacred ecology when it says that, "O children of Adam, eat and drink, but waste not by excess, for Allah loveth not the wasters." And as the Jewish commentators of the Midrash of the 8th century wrote, "And God said to Adam, See my works, how good and praiseworthy they are. All that I, the Lord, have created, I made for you. Be mindful, then, that you do not despoil it and destroy my world, for if you spoil it, there is none to repair it." When humans ignore and violate this sacred ecology, when we pollute the air with poisonous gases, when we overfish the seas, when we fail to explore renewable sources of energy, when we overpopulate floodplains, disaster is sure to follow. There is now a broad scientific agreement that because of global warming caused by human-produced CO2 in the atmosphere, humankind now stands at a crossroad, leading either to dramatic change in our energy policies or to the fatal melting of the polar ice caps and the deadly rising of the oceans with consequences for coastal communities, such as the very ground upon which we now stand. As numerous commentators informed by a religious sensibility have written, ecology is not solely a political issue, but a deeply religious and theological question that challenges our relationship to creation and hence to the divine, and confronts us with what kind of planet we wish to bequeath to our children. Human solidarity, the theme of this conference, will mean little when in decades to come, literally hundreds of millions of people in low-lying coastal plains flee the rising seas and attempt to move inland to higher ground. Throughout human history, human beings have also struggled with famine and hunger. When the rains did not fall, when the wells ran dry, when parents gazed in horror upon the bloated bellies of their starving children, humanity attempted, as described earlier, to understand this suffering while holding to a belief in a loving and just God. But when hunger was caused by human actions, both Islamic and Jewish teachings found this to be a grave sin against creation itself. Food-bearing trees are specifically mentioned as deserving of protection, and the book of Deuteronomy tells us that when fighting an enemy city, you must not destroy its trees. This sanctity of the trees is echoed in the teachings of the Caliph Abu Bakr when he commanded the followers, do not cut off the heads of the palm trees or burn them, and do not cut down the fruit trees. We may now sadly note that this sanctity of the trees has been violated in Palestine, when thousands of Arab-owned olive trees have been uprooted and destroyed by the Israeli army and extremist Jewish settlers to make room for Israeli settlements. But we must also note the struggle led by Israeli Jews themselves, most specifically by the organization Rabbis for Human Rights, to both protect Palestinian orchards as well as to replant the olive trees when they have been uprooted. This campaign has a profound implication for human solidarity, specifically Jewish-Muslim solidarity, and should serve as an inspiration for our deliberations at this conference. While hunger was surely used in the sieges of cities in both antiquity and the Middle Ages, modern history, however, is stained with the crime of human-induced famine on a mass level, such as Stalin and the Soviet Union created in the Ukraine in the 1930s. The actions of my own country are hardly blameless. As a result of U.S.-led sanctions against Iraq in the 1990s, which curtailed the shipment of both food and medicine, hundreds of thousands of Iraqi children died from malnutrition, according to many aid organizations at the time. And in our own day, how do we respond to the news when we hear that the government of Sudan recently ordered key relief organizations in Darfur to leave that country, organizations that were supplying food to 1.1 million people? And how do we, and I as a Jew, respond when contemplating the children of Gaza, over 50% of the entire population under siege from an Israeli blockade for over 2 years? One response to this crisis in Gaza has come from many Jewish religious leaders in the United States who have taken to organizing a fast for Gaza, abstaining from food for 1 day a month, to call attention to and in solidarity with the people of besieged Gaza. The organizers of this specifically Jewish response to the situation in Gaza are inspired by the words of the biblical prophet Isaiah. What is this fast I demand of you? Is it the fast of mourning? No. This is the fast I have chosen, to break the handcuffs put on by wicked power and to let the oppressed go free. Judaism has an ancient tradition of calling for communal fast in times of impending disasters, such as droughts and plagues and famines and wars. Rabbi Brian Walt, one of the organizers of the Fast for Gaza, has written that the situation in Gaza is a human rights catastrophe. I was shocked by the silence of the American Jewish community during Israel's attack upon Gaza, and I am shocked now by the silence at the blockade, an act of collective punishment against an entire people. I support Israel's right to defend itself, but it has no right to attack an entire people and to prevent the passage of food and materials needed to rebuild Gaza after the war. In conclusion, we may not know the ultimate reason that earthquakes and tornadoes and floods afflict the innocent, but gazing in horror upon a hungry child in Iraq or Darfur or Gaza, we know only too well the causes of these catastrophes. Their causes are sometimes difficult to face, especially when they emanate from within the bosom of our own tribe, our own community, or our own nation. But we should not confuse human and non-human disasters, neither by our silence nor by our acquiescence, for as the book of Leviticus commands us, we shall not stand idly by when our neighbor's blood is being spilled. Thank you. Shukran.
Excellent, Mr. Jacob Bander of the United States of America. I think you have very eloquently contextualized the natural disaster and famine within these days' terms. And I think very eloquently you link it up. And I think that gives us enough impetus for the rest of the team to contribute. I think the rapporteur, if you have any comments to make, please do so, and then we can go straight. Can we go straight? I think I open the floor for discussions, I think, for points. So first point, who is going to make?
أنا أريد أحكي شيء خاص عن الدكتور جايكوب بندر. لو كان هذا الشعور الإنساني اللي عبر عنه في كلمته الآن موجود عند كل اليهود في العالم، ما كانوا سمحوا للصهيونية أن توصل العالم إلى هالمشاكل وهالأتعاب في فلسطين خاصة. يعني ما جرى بغزة وما يجري اليوم وكل يوم في غزة وفي لبنان وبالمنطقة يعني شيء بعيد كثير عن الإنسانية، مش من باب نقد التصرفات الإسرائيلية بحكي، وإنما التكامل والتضامن البشري ما له دين، ما له دين وما له مذهب وما له قومية. الإنسانية هي إنسانية، ونحن أخوة في كل أنحاء العالم. ففي الإنسانية لا اللون لا القومية لا الانتماء لا الدين له المحل. المحل كبير هو للإنسان. Thank you very much, Dr. Bender.
Thank you, the Bishop. I think you have shared the feelings of the rest of the room, I'm sure. So I think we better go to the first point, brother, you wanted to make.
I'm Gergis Saleh, General Secretary of Middle East Council of Churches, الأمين العام لمجلس كنائس الشرق الأوسط. أنا بوجه التحية للمتكلمين سيادة المطران جورج صليبة والدكتور علي أبو ليلى والسيد جاكوب على كلمته، ولكن حديثي مع سيادة المطران جورج صليبة. سيدنا كما تعودنا أحسنت في أنك ختمت حديثك بعبارة من سليمان الحكيم: لا تمنع الخير عن أهله حين يكون في طاقة يدك أن تفعله. أظن أن هذه الآية هي أكبر تعبير على التضامن والهيومن سوليداريتي، لخصت الموضوع والاجتماع كله. لأن في الإشارة أيضا إلى أن الإنسان حينما خلقه الله وجعل له معينا من أجل أن يكون هناك تضامن وهناك تعاون وهناك مساعدة، ولا يمكن للإنسان حينما يكون في إمكانه ولديه من العواطف والمشاعر ما يمكن أن يواجه به الكوارث الطبيعية ليحد منها، لا يمكن أن يمنعه. فخدمت حديثك كما بدأت بأن الإنسان يفرح مع الفرحين ويحزن مع الحزانة، بعبارة سليمان الحكيم: لا تمنع الخير عن أهله حين يكون في طاقة يدك أن تفعله. وأضم صوتي لصوت نيافتك. بالنسبة للسيد جاكوب، أنا أشكرك على أنك ألمحت إلى أن المعاناة التي يعاني منها إخوتنا في غزة نتيجة الحصار، ولكن نطلب منك باتصالاتك أيضا أن يكون هناك ضغط لفك هذا الحصار.
Abdelwahid Peterson from Copenhagen, Denmark. First of all, I would like to point to an incident I experienced a few years ago in Sudan. I was sitting with the Ministry of Agriculture, a young lady at that time. She told me that in Sudan there's agrariable land enough to feed Africa twice, and still people are dying from starvation in Africa. That points to the fact that a lot of the famine we see around the world is due to lack of infrastructure. If we had proper infrastructure in many of these poor countries, food is definitely there. Secondly, another reason why we see a lot of this famine and many other calamities is corruption, political and moral corruption in the world. We heard earlier today that 75% of the riches is in 25% of the hands, and even within this 75% of the riches, 75% of that is maybe on 3 or 4 or 5% of that amount. So there's a lot of moral corruption in the world, and we should, as religious people, we should realize that the world is too important to leave it in the hands of political administrators, political and economical administrators. And therefore I put a motion to this conference to form a body, international body of religious responsible people. And we have to think out of the box here, not just as we are here now, the 3 Abrahamic religions, but we have to include also Buddhism and Hinduism being major religions, possibly even Sikhism and Shintoism. But strong religious body of responsible religious leaders and personalities who can address the world's political decision makers in a powerful manner and make the voice of responsible, concerned people be heard and put some moral pressure on these people. I think that with proper funding, it could be from this conference, it could be from anywhere else, this could be established within a rather short time, say a year or so. Finally, I would very much like to thank Mr. Bender for his words, because he did what I was thinking in the last session, in the last conference. There are 2 things that we should all be very much aware of. First of all, we should criticize our own when they do wrong, whether it's our own nation or our own religion. You did both, which is great. Secondly, we should always be ready not to stand up for our own rights, but to stand up for each other's rights. If we stand up for each other's rights, then it would work so much more. If I as a Muslim stand up for the rights of the Jews or the Christians or the Buddhists, it counts much more than if I defend my own rights, and I can then count on my Christian friends or Jewish friends or whoever to stand up for my rights. So if we can always criticize our own and we can always stand up for each other's rights, I'm sure it could go far. Thank you. Thank you for your comment. I'm just wondering, a good recommendation that has been made. Do you like to consider it here, or we can, as a group, we can pass it on to the main committee, main team? I just want you to think about it, and inshallah we'll get back to you soon. Brother, you comment?
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I'm sorry to take the microphone after your very clear ruling that we should keep to the topics, but you have speakers that set the topics for us here, and if the speakers distort the truth and the records, then it is our duty also to try and put the truth, because we are a dialogue between religions, and the truth is supreme in our dialogue. Mr. Banda spoke of 13 humanitarian workers that were expelled from Darfur in the Sudan. I just want to say there are 130 humanitarian workers working in the Sudan. The 13 were expelled because they were found to be providing evidence to the prosecutor who was trying to bring the case to The Hague against the President of the Republic. And I don't know what Mr. Bender would like, that we should have allowed the 13 to to continue to file wrong evidence against the president of the country. We have 130 more humanitarian workers and working very well in Darfur, and I don't know why 13 should become such an important record to bring to our dialogue. Thank you very much.
I think, brother, point taken. I think we should go to the next point here.
Thank you. My name is Stein Willemstein, working with Religions for Peace. Let me first respond to the suggestion of having a new body of religious leaders to address the world leaders. I'm reluctant why we should always start a new body if we could build on existing bodies, and I'm very happy to represent a body that has ambitions of that kind and have a major senior religious leaders around the world and across the religious divides as members. Just as an example, we're not the only one. I don't want to monopolize, just encourage to build on what we have, because I think there is possibilities within that. My original point was, and I make a statement, natural disasters that we're talking about here, natural disasters are not fair and just. There is this notion that natural disasters hit, anybody equally, but it don't. And I think we need to be making that very clear. Because due to pre-disaster conditions, the poor and the marginalized are always hit the hardest. It is those living close to the shores in Bangladesh that are being, hit hardest when the storms are hitting. It is those with buildings that are not built for earthquakes that will collapse and the people die. Those people in marginal situations, be it in Darfur or in other places where the drought is creeping in, those are the ones who are victims. And I'm wanting to address this from a religious and a moral point of view. Very often we say we need to help people to come back to the situation they were before. I would say no, because that would again ask for another disaster that would hit the poor and marginalized again. Therefore, we need to act on two levels. We need to act with compassion, which is respond immediately to the situation, to those who are suffering. But at the same time, as religious people, we need to respond with a prophetic voice. Why is it that the poor and marginalized are being hit the hardest? And we need to look at the local situation, we need to look at the systemic injustices that create the disparities between the rich and the poor, even when natural disasters hit.
Nick, you have got any comment to make?
I was inclined to agree with our friend here that it's important that the voices around this table are heard, but not necessarily by replicating another body. I'm sympathetic that there are perhaps already too many bodies. That was my first thought. I was very struck by the thought that we must be self-critical. And perhaps again, in the particular context of this room, I was struck by how difficult it is for us to discuss questions of the poor and the marginalized when we're enjoying the very generous hospitality of our hosts here, and this very opulent context. It seems quite disparate, and it reminds me that we need also, those of us who participate in these conversations, also to be rooted in our own communities and in the networks which link us with communities around the world. And I suppose that's the final point that was occurring to me, that religious communities are often communities that have networks which cross cultural, social and political boundaries. And that can make us a subversive force in all the right senses, that we're not bound by the rhetoric of our own politicians always, and we have allegiances to a wider community simply than that of our own particular nation or ethnicity or whatever it may be. So it seems to me that we need to listen carefully to the voices of those people around, and then together work out means of practically responding. And I thought the illustrations of the need to protect the means of livelihood, the trees, was a very powerful example of that. But there are other examples which we could think of in other contexts around the world. So those are the thoughts that occurred to me as we were listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. I think I just want the floor to consider a few of the key points that were made today. Initially, the spiritual connection for our respective faith, with no uncertain terms, gives a very clear direction that we need to stand by humanity at large when a disaster or famine struck them, or to stand by people. I think all the spiritual leaders has given ample evidence. And lastly, the evidence came from Isaiah 58. It's one of the very big inspiration to me. I often quote, and I allow me to quote it again. He said, "Is not this the kind of fasting I have chosen, to loose the chains of injustice and untie the cords of the yoke, to set the oppressed free and break every yoke? Is it not to share your food with the hungry and to provide the poor wanderer with shelter? When you see the naked, to clothe him, and not to turn away from your own flesh and blood." Similar sentiment is a quote from a famous sayings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. He said, "God will say to man on the day of judgment, O son of Adam, I was ill and you did not visit me." The man will ask, "God, how can I visit you? You are the lords of the worlds." And God will say, "Did you not know that my servant was ill and you did not visit him? Alas, had you visited him, you would have found me with him." I think I can see the revealed religions has got similar connotation, similar spirit. But for us to contextualize it, to take it into biteable chunk actions. Ecology is a religious and theological issues. It is because of our misdeed the natural calamities is taking place in various parts of the world, cyclone, typhoon, and so on and so forth. So we need to look at the action that can be taken. Like overfishing in the North Sea, the cod is disappearing. So there are various actions that mankind that we are taking on board, and we need to reflect on it. And while my brother was suggesting a new body, and I concur with both Nick and Stein, that there are ample bodies. But from this conference, if we can give a clear message that to inspire and engage faith institutions, faith leaders, the bishops, the imams, the priests, to come and reinforce the same sentiment that we shared today in action, whereby we can prepare the masses to deal with calamities. We can prevent, like in Bangladesh, I was involved in building around 2,000 homes as chief executive of Muslim Aid. They are all cyclone resistant buildings, a bit expensive. In terms of those accommodation was just over $2,000 or less than $2,000. But you can give a family a secure home. So there are options, there are ways that we can deal with it. But that means we need the support and blessing and inspiration from our religious leaders. Because I feel these spiritual leaders, they have given their whole life in pursuing and following the footsteps of the great teachers of mankind, either Muhammad, peace be upon him, or Jesus Christ, peace be upon him. So therefore we have got a lot to learn, and not to create a new sort of problems in terms of disagreeing, because most of the sentiment you could see, the three Abrahamic religions are coming from exactly the same platform, same source of inspiration. So we need to strengthen that, and perhaps from this floor we can give the clear message that we can work together, all of us, and give the faith institutions a bigger platform to mobilize the Muslim, Christian and Jewish or other people of other faiths, volunteers to take it forward. That was my comment. Brother, yes.
Yes, just very briefly, I'd just like to change my motion in the light of what was said. Instead of forming a new body, absolutely it would be better to build on one, but I think we should actually not just sort of throw it in the air. We should be more precise. And it could be the religions for peace. It could be, if there's any better qualified body present here. Otherwise, I think we should make a precise motion to strengthen, because we all know that what makes things happen in this world today, unfortunately, it's money. We may have good hearts, we may have good ideas, we may have good friendships and whatever else, but if there's not proper funding, nothing's going to happen. So if we have a precise motion to strengthen, for instance, that one body and make it get that power to penetrate, I think that would be a good thing to do.
In that point, I need to ask our Sheikh Ahmed Dubayan to make a comment. You are observing.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you very much. Actually, I welcome the idea that's made by Brother Abdurrahman and supported by the other. I put my voice with them. There must be a voice actually heard by the politicians from the faith communities. The problem is exactly as it is explained in Jacob's speech. That is, we know the disasters made by people or by human beings, not by nature, and mostly, of course, they come, or let's say, without, of course, naming anybody, but let's say that is politics is mostly behind all these disasters and problems. I think the voices from the faith communities, really, it's time now to be heard, and not to leave the arena only for politics, actually, to decide about it. Hopefully, that really could change some of the politics in the world around us and really bring more justice maybe for the poor people and for those who are forgotten and the victims of the disasters. Of course, the mechanism how to make it, first of all, I think it must be really in the declaration or the final statement of this conference. It must be there. That's my opinion, of course. And to how to actually make that, or how to enforce it, we need to think really about it, how to make it in the right way. From one side, we need the funding, that's true. Without the funding, it will not work. Again, also without really giving us more space to work by many countries and many leaders, it will not even work, even if you have the money. So there are many factors actually should be involved in this process. But anyway, I think this is the right direction. That is, we have to move. Now, we've been talking in many conferences about dialogue, about the common things in different faiths, especially Judaism, Christianity, Islam. But I think we have to go now to to have some practical side. And I think this voice to be heard about the disasters in the world is really something that is nobody in the three faiths, and I'm sure about also the other faiths like Judaism and like the Buddhism and Shintoism and the others, they will agree with us about this because they are sharing these common values which are very important for all human beings. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Just a follow-up to what has been said by the two last speakers. I appreciate the openness for the idea of supporting what already exists. And I just want to share very briefly that you're saying broaden maybe beyond the three religions of the book, and we do have representatives and senior representatives of all the religions of this world in our bodies, and we're organized in a way that the global bodies has a possibility of advocating on global levels. But there's a lot to be done on regional levels with regional authorities, and there are regional bodies and regional councils that can take that up. But there is also the national level where, in fact, advocacy is important. And within our system, there are more than 70 platforms in different nations that could pursue those types of assistance, but also advocacy. And what in fact, 1 week from now, we are trying to bringing together faith-based organizations that are working in humanitarian and development assistance to what we call the forum.